Over the years, fan theories revolving around the most popular superheroes and supervillains have been devised out of boredom, misunderstandings, or inconsistencies in the characters and stories. As entertaining as some of these ideas are, they are usually pretty far-fetched and easy to dismiss. Every once in a while, a theory is concocted that seems to make too much sense for it to be mere speculation. Is Galactus God? Was the Flash replaced with an imposter? Did Batman kill the Joker at the end of The Killing Joke? As soon as the question is posed, you can't help but consider it. Sometimes the theory seems to fit so perfectly, you feel blind that you never noticed it before. Fans will argue for years to figure out the validity of some of the most outlandish comic book theories, but if a comic writer disregards a fan theory about a character they created, that's it, the game's up. Although the writers have essentially disproven every entry in this article, it's still fascinating to see the crazy theories that readers have devised about some of the most famous characters in superhero literature. I am Kirsten from What Culture Comics, and these are 10 comic fan theories rejected by the creators. Number 10, Superman was replaced with a sand duplicate. In the Superman story The Sandman, the Man of Steel battles a silicon-based double of himself. Superman gradually loses each of his powers while the doppelganger obtains more and more of the Kryptonian's abilities. After it obtains all of the Man of Steel's powers, the sand duplicate dies. However, some readers hypothesize that Superman himself died after losing his powers and his double replaced him. This fan theory is plausible because it could potentially explain future stories about Superman. 1 month after this story was published, Doomsday debuted and killed Superman. When he came back to life, readers theorized that Doomsday killed the sand duplicate and the resurrected Superman was the real one. However, it was revealed that the resurrected Superman was the real deal, and he had returned to life using Kryptonian technology. But the fan theory didn't stop there. 1 year later, Superman found the body of another Superman. The Eradicator validated this body as the real Superman, strengthening the sand duplicate theory. When the writer of the story, Walt Simonson, was asked if there was any truth to this concept, he dismissed it, saying, "All I can really say about this matter is that nothing I could say would be as interesting as this article." Number 9, Joker is a god. During the Darkseid War saga, Batman found the Mobius chair, a device that contains all the information of the universe. When he asked what is the Joker's true name, Batman is blown away to learn the answer is there are 3 Jokers. This revelation will be explored this year in the miniseries 3 Jokers, but there are some readers who believe they already know the Joker's identity. He is the Greek god of laughter, Gelos. So where did this idea come from? Well, after Batman found the Mobius chair, Wonder Woman discussed how her mother hated Gelos more than any other god due to his habit of cackling hysterically while he slayed women and children. While she is saying this, an image of the Joker appears, seemingly cementing this hypothesis. Before finding the Mobius chair, Batman and his team discovered century-old pictures of an entity known as the Pale Man, who resembles the Joker, implying he's some sort of immortal deity. The writers of 3 Jokers are staying tight-lipped about the villain's identity, but it has been confirmed that he is not Gelos. If he was, the Mobius chair would have confirmed it when Batman asked for the Joker's name. Number 8, Sabretooth and Wolverine are related. Since he debuted, Wolverine's origin was a mystery, leading the writers to tease the readers about his past for decades. It was suggested at one point that Wolverine wasn't a human but a wolf-like species called a lupine. Another time, the writers strongly considered to reveal that Logan was an actual Wolverine who was turned into a human. But the most reoccurring theory revolving around Canada's most famous superhero, sorry Deadpool, is he is related to Sabretooth. The creators of Sabretooth, John Byrne and Chris Claremont, wanted to reveal that Wolverine's nemesis was also his father. Due to their physical similarities, many readers already assumed the characters were blood related. Unfortunately, the writers moved on to working on different comics before they had a chance to implement this Wolverine's heritage. However, the fan theory refused to die. Sabretooth seemingly confirmed he was Logan's daddy dearest when he announced it in 1991's Wolverine number 41. Although this plot thread could have been dragged out, it was completely abandoned 1 issue later when a blood test invalidated Sabretooth's claim. In this 6-part series Origin, it was confirmed that Wolverine's father was an estate groundskeeper called Thomas Logan. Number 7, J. Jonah Jameson always knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man. The Daily Bugle editor-in-chief J. Jonah Jameson writes every editorial about Spider-Man with a negative slant, claiming that any masked hero is a menace. But what if Jameson knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker? Parker always making crappy excuses to leave when there's a criminal nearby, he's clumsy and unreliable, and yet he can get the best pictures of Spidey without fail. Jameson has been in the business for decades, so surely he would figure out Parker and Spider-Man are one and the same, right? Maybe Jameson puts a crooked slant on Spider-Man to spur the hero into action. Every time the wall crawler is criticised in the papers, Spider-Man doubles down to catch criminals. Spider-Man doesn't realise that Jameson is actually inspiring him to be a better superhero. It's a nice theory, but it doesn't hold water. In one story, Parker got so sick of Jameson's crusade against Spider-Man, he convinced his boss that his own son, John, was the wall crawler. Based on Jameson's reaction, he absolutely believed his son was Spider-Man. When Jameson found out later that Spidey's true identity was Peter Parker, he was hurt and told his friend Robbie he felt like he was betrayed by his own child. Number 6. Kyle Rayner created the New 52. When the Flash, Barry Allen, went back in time to stop the Reverse Flash from killing his mother, he inadvertently screwed up the timeline. When he tried to fix it, he created a rebooted version of DC Comics called the New 52, or so it would seem. Readers considered that there could be another person who was responsible for remaking the DC universe, but who could have had the power to do that? The Spectre? The Anti-Monitor? Telos? As comic fans debated on Reddit and DC forums, one name kept popping up: the 5th Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. Or maybe he's the 4th one. I can't remember. When the New 52 was published, every comic was rebooted except Green Lantern. Why would Green Lantern be the only story not to be rebooted unless they were in control of it? Also, Rayner once became Ion, a being that could alter time and space. During the New 52, Rayner showed godlike powers by passing through the Source Wall, a feat which was considered impossible. That may sound like a compelling case, but it isn't true. In the Doomsday Clock series, it was revealed that the New 52 was created by Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen series. Speaking of, number 5, Hooded Justice and Captain Metropolis were a couple. One of the few unsolved mysteries in the 12-issue graphic novel Watchmen was the identity of the superhero Hooded Justice. In the text sections of the comic, it's theorized that Hooded Justice is actually a circus strongman called Rolf Muller. Hooded Justice was a member of the Minutemen, the precursor to the superhero team the Crime Busters. Another member of the Minutemen was Captain Metropolis, who some fans suspected to be Hooded Justice's lover. Despite the fact that both characters seemingly died off-panel, some readers aren't so certain about this. While Laurie and Dan are chatting in a restaurant, two men can be seen in front of them holding hands. The older gentleman has a pointed mustache just like Rolf Muller, while the other man has a seemingly structured face to Captain Metropolis. This page suggested that the heroes faked their death to be with each other. When the story artist Dave Gibbons was asked about Hooded Justice and Captain Metropolis being an item, he said it wasn't true, but he found the concept interesting and plausible. Watchmen may be filled to the brim with hints and subtle references, but this isn't one of them. Number 4, the Flash was replaced by an imposter. After the second Flash, Barry Allen, sacrificed his life to save reality, his sidekick Wally West became the new Flash. Since both heroes wear a similar costume, it was a little confusing to tell which Flash is which. Luckily, there is a simple solution. Both characters have blue eyes. When Wally became the Flash, the artist gave him green eyes to give him a visual distinction. Unfortunately, this idea only works if every artist remembers this. Although Wally had green eyes in the Flash series, he had blue eyes in the Justice League comics. This was obviously a simple mistake, but it didn't take long before readers were convinced the Flash in the Justice League was an imposter. DC writer Mark Waid decided to put an end to it in the Dark Flash series. In this story, it is explained that when timelines converge, Wally would sometimes share the eye colour with an alternative version of himself called Walter West. You have to admire Mark Waid for turning a small continuity error into an entire plotline. Number 3, Lex Luthor is a time traveller. In Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, the titular hero learns he's dying. A philanthropist called Leo Quintum tries to save him while Lex Luthor does everything he can to ensure Superman meets his demise. Despite the fact that Luthor seems like the antithesis of Quintum, many readers believe that they are the same person. You see, the story ends with Luthor realising he was wrong about Superman. What if he went back in time and created the character of Quintum to save Soup's life? Ridiculous, right? But there's clues that potentially validate this theory. When Luthor is speaking to Quintum, someone asks, "Are you talking to yourself again?" When Superman gives Quintum the details about his DNA, Quintum says, "I could be the devil himself for all you know." Everything seems to point to Leo Quintum being Lex Luthor. Luthor's ape is called Leo, for crying out loud. When Morrison was asked what Quintum represented, he said the character was simply Superman's scientist friend. Morrison did consider making Quintum as an avatar for the new gods, but changed his mind at the last minute. Quintum is a genius, but he is simply a man. Not a new god, not a time traveller, and not Lex Luthor. Number 2, Galactus is God. The planet-consuming Galactus is one of the most daunting characters in all comics. When he debuted in Fantastic Four number 48, he was the most powerful entity to appear in Marvel. He had dozens of abilities including telekinesis, telepathy, light speed, invulnerability, matter absorption, and energy manipulation. In an instant, he can destroy a planet or resurrect an entire civilization. Because his power seems to be on par with a deity, some readers believed Galactus is God. Not a god, the god. This idea came from a rumour that Stan Lee told his partner Jack Kirby to have the Fantastic Four fight God, for the story that became known as the Galactus trilogy. However, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby have repeatedly stated they avoided inserting religious connotations into their storylines unless it was unavoidable. When Doctor Strange encountered a space wizard who claimed to be God, Stan Lee ordered the writers to retract this statement as he didn't want to upset Christians. Long after Stan Lee stopped writing the Fantastic Four, the team ended up meeting God in the story hereafter. And what did God look like? Funnily enough, he had an uncanny resemblance to Jack Kirby. Number 1, Batman killed the Joker in The Killing Joke. For decades, readers have debated the ending of Batman The Killing Joke. When the Caped Crusader finally corners the Joker, the clown Prince of Crime tells a joke, causing the pair to burst out laughing. As Batman places his hand on the Joker, the supervillain's laughter suddenly stops. Fans couldn't figure out what was the meaning behind Joker's laughter being abruptly cut off. Because the panel is in shadow, it's hard to tell if Batman placed his hand on the demented clown's shoulder or around his neck. Did the Dark Knight strangle the Joker to death? In a way, it makes sense. In the opening scene, Batman acknowledges his rivalry with the Joker can only end with one killing the other. However, Alan Moore's original script contradicts this notion. They are now both helpless with laughter and have collapsed forward onto each other, both ragged and bloody, each holding the other up as they stand there clinging together in the rain. According to Richard Starkings, who lettered the story, the artist Brian Boland told him that Batman was merely leaning on the Joker in the last panel. There is no reference to the Joker being murdered.